Welcome back to AlphaGunreview. Today, we're not celebrating legendary firearms or marveling at engineering masterpieces. No, we're diving into the other end of the spectrum, the worst of the worst. These are 5 of the most disappointing, flawed, and downright dangerous handguns ever created. From catastrophic design failures to deadly user risks, this list will make you thankful for every reliable firearm ever made. If you enjoy in-depth breakdowns and no-nonsense reviews, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to AlphaGunreview. Let's get started. First up, the infamous Namboo pistol from Japan. Hailed in its time as a standard-issue sidearm for Japanese soldiers, the Namboo is a perfect case study of how poor design can turn a military asset into a liability. Mechanically weak and frustratingly impractical, the Namboo featured a recoil spring so underpowered that removing the magazine required physically pushing it out by hand. In battle, this flaw alone could be deadly. Add to that a fragile build, weak muzzle energy, and a notorious tendency to misfire if bumped or dropped, and you've got a weapon more dangerous to its user than its target. It was less a sidearm and more a ticking time bomb in a holster. Next, the Beretta Model 1923 from Italy, a rare misstep from a legendary manufacturer. Based on the earlier model 1915, the 1923 was designed to be a modern upgrade. Unfortunately, it was doomed from the start by its choice of ammunition, the 9x19mm Glicenti cartridge. It was weaker than the standard 9mm Parabellum, offering subpar stopping power that left much to be desired on the battlefield. Despite Beretta's storied history of excellence, this model suffered from minimal innovation and underwhelming performance. The production run was short-lived, lasting barely 2 years before being discontinued. It's a reminder that even the best gun makers can miss the mark. Now we move into the shadows, the mysterious North Korean Type 68. Shrouded in secrecy and shaped by isolation, the Type 68 is a crude, outdated attempt to replicate the Soviet Tokarev TT-33. While official information on this handgun remains scarce due to North Korea's secretive regime, the design flaws are glaringly obvious. It's bulkier than the TT-33, but doesn't offer any mechanical advantages. In fact, the added size only worsens recoil control and makes the weapon harder to handle. The most baffling flaw, however, is its incompatibility with standard Tokarev magazines and parts, a strange choice for a supposed clone. What little is known about the Type 68 paints a clear picture. This is a poorly made relic that feels decades behind the rest of the world in both form and function. Fourth on our list is an American embarrassment, the Colt 2000. Developed in the early 1990s, the Colt 2000 was intended to compete with polymer frame giants like Glock. Instead, it became a textbook example of over-engineering gone wrong. Using a complex rotating barrel locking system, it was marketed as innovative, but in practice, it was unreliable and unsafe. Owners complained of frequent failures to eject, poor accuracy, and ergonomic issues with the oversized grip. Worst of all, there were real safety concerns due to malfunctioning internals. After just a few years of disappointing performance and negative reviews, Colt pulled the plug on the 2000. It remains one of the company's biggest flops to date. Last but not least, the CIA's ultra-secret deer gun. Designed during the Vietnam War as a covert single-shot pistol for resistance fighters, the deer gun was an exercise in extreme simplicity. Too extreme. With no safety mechanism, no real sights, and a crude aluminum construction, this weapon was meant for one use only, and barely accomplished that. The user had to manually reload after each shot, making follow-up fire almost impossible in a real combat scenario. Its limited range, poor accuracy, and fragile frame made it more of a psychological tool than a practical weapon. Only about 1,000 units were ever made before the project was abandoned, and for good reason. And that wraps up our list of the 5 worst handguns in history. These aren't just design failures, they're cautionary tales about what happens when form is prioritized over function, or when innovation ignores practicality. In some cases, these weapons weren't just ineffective, they were downright dangerous to the people holding them. Thanks for sticking with us to the end. Let us know in the comments which of these you think is the worst, or if you know of another handgun that deserves to be on this list. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to AlphaGunreview for more honest, in-depth reviews of the firearms that made and missed history. See you in the next one.